episode of People Talk Too. And I'm your host, Keisha Renee. And in the studio today, we have a special guest, one of my really good friends, Miss Shalana Agumani. I've been working and practicing on that all week. Yeah, I got it.
Yay.
Hey. Yes, welcome, Shalana.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yes.
having me.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
So, Shalana, I know a lot of things about you, but I would like for our viewers out here to actually know, just give them a little bit about who Shalana is.
Oh, Shalana, she's so many things.
Yes.
Business owner, mother, uh, tech,
Yes.
community advocate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a whole list of them here for you. I'm like philanthropist, advocate, activist, leader, mother, wife, sister, daughter, educator, trainer, an integral woman in her community.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so
So
much.
today I asked you to come here because I wanted you to talk about this program that you've just started. If you could just tell our viewers a little bit about your program and the name.
Sure, sure. So the name of the organization is Pharaoh's Daughters. We are a for-profit organization that centers on young women between the ages of 12 to 21. I like to say our three pillars are poise, pride, and purpose. But what that encompasses is a team of women like myself, like you, who want to give back to our community, and we do that by inspiring young women, letting them know that the world is unlimited, their dreams can be attained, and we can provide them with some mentors and a space, a safe space for them to explore.
Wow, I wish there was a program like that when I was growing up. I don't remember any programs like that. I mean, maybe with the Girl Scouts, but it still not the same thing. So I'm so glad that you've decided to create such a program. So my first question to you is like, why did you want to create Pharaoh's Daughter?
Yeah, so, when I was growing up, I was exposed to organizations like the one that I want to recreate and innovate in a couple of different ways. The one that comes to mind the most is Friendly and Settlement on Unwin. I was about 14 years old. We had after school programs there, Tuesdays and Thursdays. The location was actually the first to introduce me to HBCUs. We had college tours
Wow.
every spring break and summer break. Uh, Took me to Africa the first time. I was
Wow.
15 years old. So just really a level of exposure that I credit my success, part of my success to. So I just feel like we have to be the change we want to see and reach as we climb. So, I don't have all the answers, but I know a little something. And I'm connected with some sisters that have some wisdom too. So
Yeah.
let's be able to share that with our young people.
Oh, definitely. So you are from the Cleveland area, born and raised in Cleveland.
Yes,
And
yeah. I'm born and raised in Cleveland.
I
I'm
know
from the
that's
land.
right. What they say? Boop, I'm from Cleveland. I'm not gonna say the word.
But I've lived in other places. I lived in Virginia for a while, Jacksonville, Florida. I went to school at Tuskegee in
Wow.
Alabama.
Yes, yes.
So been around a little bit.
Wow. Yeah, you've definitely been around a bit. Woo. Tuskegee.
Yes.
Wow. What was
Yes.
that like?
Oh man, I really, having gone to a few different types of universities, I would say that my experience at a HBCU was really grounding for me. Uh, it was a place where saw engineers, doctors, architects, nurses,
And they were all,
and melanated
yes,
and at peace.
at peace.
You know,
Yeah. Yes. I've met
highly
quite a few
motivated.
people
Yeah.
who've been to HBCUs, and the way they express their experience, it's always the same. They felt like they were a part of a family. They felt like they belonged. It's always the same. I wish I had went to a HBCU. I didn't have that opportunity. But most recently, I attended a game, and there was two HBCU teams playing against each other, and it was a fabulous experience. I mean, the girls were dancing, and I was like, "Ooh," I felt like I really should have been a part of that. I wanted to be on the dance team.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
didn't dance,
got-
did you?
I wanted to.
You
No,
wanted to?
I did.
Oh, you could have done it too.
I did.
You could have
Girl,
done
those
it.
engineering classes, you taking 5 classes.
Oh, you didn't mention that you were going for engineering.
Yes.
Oh, whoa.
Electrical engineering.
An intelligent
Yeah.
sister, clever, brilliant, quick-witted. Those are all things to describe you. Yes,
thank you.
definitely. So I don't want to get off the subject because we're here to talk about Pharaoh's daughters. And, I still want to ask you a couple questions. So my next question is, who is this program designed for? When you're talking about Pharaoh's daughters, who are these daughters, these girls that we're talking about?
Yeah, so we're talking about, first of all, these are royal young women, right?
Ooh.
That's why we said Pharaoh.
Royal, yes.
Because I don't think it gets more royal than Pharaoh.
Yes.
And a Pharaoh could have been a man or a woman. So
I
that
didn't
was
know
another
that.
reason why we picked that. But we are really geared towards young women, so that's why it's called Pharaoh's Daughters. I'm a mother of 4. So I have a house full of little Pharaoh's daughters. So with that, my house has always been central for activity.
Okay.
And I'm like, wow, I can really change this into a passion project. And so that's what I did. So Pharaoh's Daughters is directed to the underserved in our community,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're royal.
Okay.
And we're here to remind them that they're royal.
Okay, so how long has this program been running in operation?
So it's really new in its inception, but it's something that we've been working on for years, having conversations with my closest friends.
Yes.
And sharing, some of our gripes and complaints about what's missing in the community and just planning things out and then stepping out one day and leaping and like never looking back. So the look back stopped about 3 weeks ago. So, we are a baby.
So what happened 3 weeks ago?
So, well, like I said, I think it was just like a perfect storm. I had everything written out of what we wanted to do. I'd already really been doing the work, but the formation of the business had never occurred. So I learned about an opportunity within the Cleveland community with an organization called Intervisions. And they're a philanthropy group that gives an opportunity to people, organizations, by financing them with a special project.
Wow.
People come together. It's completely random initially, so you get to be picked one of 3 out of a hat, hopefully, right? And it just so happens I filled out the paperwork the day of, submitted my impact statement and information about who we are, what we plan to do. That was about at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
By 7 o'clock at night, I had been selected, pitched my product, and been handed a check.
Wow.
For, it was a mini grant.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
that's how we got started.
So how many people were you up against for this money?
So I think every one of them is different.
Okay.
It just so happens that I want to say there were maybe 6 or 7 other organizations there, but only 3 are picked to deliver a pitch.
And they're picked out of a hat.
They're picked out of a hat. They're randomly picked by, that day it happened to be a young student from, I think maybe from the neighborhood. I don't know. But yeah, so he pulled my name first. I was like, my whole world sunk into the seat. I'm like, really? So, you get up and you start answering questions and telling about your project and your passions. And the next thing you know, it's like, this is unreal. I just did this,
Yeah, definitely. I know that had to be like one of those things that kind of like put your self-esteem through the roof that day. because that made you understood clearly what you are capable of doing, and accomplishing. So we applaud you
Yeah.
for
Oh,
that. You
thank
went out
you.
there, you went on a limb, and you just did it.
Yeah.
Well, so back to Pharaoh's daughters. So where are you guys meeting? Like, how does this work with Pharaoh's daughters?
So our primary partner is Red All Green Partnership. For those who don't know, it's an urban farm located in the city of Cleveland off of 82nd and Kinsman. I also teach there, and I'm an administrator. But
Okay.
they're one of our primary partners. They have a unique classroom setting whereby we can talk about tech or trek. So we can have a really structured classroom setting in there, Damien Forche Learning Center, but we also have access to the urban farm. But we travel throughout the city of Cleveland. I really believe in exposure. There are people who live here, young people who live here, have never been to Great Lakes Science Center, never seen our beautiful museums, never maybe taken a hike on the Metro Parks trails. So we're really limitless, and we don't have to have one set classroom. We think that the whole world could be our classroom.
Yeah, definitely. So a little bit more about Ridall, because I speak to several people in the community and I bring up Ridall quite a bit. And they aren't aware that it even exists. And I don't understand how this is even happening.
Yeah,
So-
I think maybe part of the issue is that we're nestled in the back of a hidden drive, you know.
Yeah.
It's accessible, but unless you have something going on down there, you wouldn't necessarily drive down this particular road. And I think that's a beautiful part about it, because it's a little oasis for Cleveland.
Yes.
But what's sad is about that is that a lot of people from the neighborhood don't know that they have access to fresh tilapia, the most original state-grown vegetation in this area.
So by that, what do you mean?
So we don't say organic, we say original state,
Okay.
meaning that we grow things the way that our ancestors grew them, the original way.
The original way.
Right. So we did that. Well, the founders actually started this organization to combat food deserts in our city. We're leading nation in so many different ways, but we really can fix some of these problems. And so these guys had the courage to step out and do that.
So your girls will be learning about urban farming?
Yeah, my daughters, they learn. I take them all the time with me. My oldest daughter actually was a part of a youth program. I'm sorry, when you say your girls, I always listen.
Yeah.
Instinct. As a mom, I'm thinking
I was
about
talking
my
your daughters,
personal daughters.
Your daughters,
But no,
Okay.
so Pharaoh's daughter is an extension of me and my entire world and everything that I'm exposed to the benefit of them. So absolutely, our first meeting was held in a greenhouse in Cleveland, where these young people learned about aquaponics, vermiculture, composting on their very first day of meeting with Pharaoh's daughter. So absolutely.
Okay. And what else do you plan to teach these young ladies?
So this session we're ending in December. Everything is purpose driven, right? So this series really focused on self-care
Okay.
and safety. So we met with police officers last week. Our initial meeting in the greenhouse, we built vision boards. We talked about our strengths.
Vision boards, yes.
And our planning of short and long-term goals. And so our next session will include a instruction on how to build your own natural care products, hair care, household aromatherapy, bath salts, bath bombs, things that can enhance your personal, private time, and just personal care overall. And then those products that we handcraft will be sold at a market. We're calling it the bazaar.
Oh, wow. So entrepreneurship is like one of the pieces.
Yes,
there.
very important to encourage our young women to lead through stepping out and creating a business model based on their passions. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Is there anything else you guys are planning to do this year? Or
Yeah,
this year is over. So I mean, this year is
Basically, yeah.
basically over. But
Yeah.
so when will you guys be ending?
So we end for this session December 22nd,
Okay.
but we are restarting in January, working very diligently now to get some space and assistance with teaching our girls how to program. So
Okay. Wow.
technology is
It's a big piece.
yeah,
Yes.
it's as important as humanities, English.
That is
You know,
true.
it is a science. So
That is definitely true. Okay. I see. So how can a young lady become a part of your organization?
well, they can reach out to me. I'm on all social media, Pharaoh's daughters on IG. I have a page on Facebook, Pharaoh's Daughters.
Okay.
And that's the best way to reach out to me right now. Building our website. I just finished working on it this afternoon. So, you know, our company is still a few weeks old. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're still building that website right now. But pretty soon we'll be online.
So, do the young ladies have to live in a certain area? You know, a certain county, a certain city? What?
Yeah. So right now we're located in Northeast Ohio. So most of our young ladies come from the eastern suburbs and eastern parts of Cleveland. We're hoping to expand, obviously, but right now we're limited to that particular area.
Okay. So, how many girls do you usually have, and how many girls are you gonna have for the next series?
Well, we're hoping for as many as we can handle, you know, as many as we can fit into a computer lab. The goal ultimately would be to be about 25 to 30 young women
Okay.
with 2 technology advisors there. But that's just one cohort. We have other ones that we'll host next year for social etiquette training, just the basic debutante type of
Oh,
classes
social etiquette training.
yeah, to complement the, you know, tech.
So, what does this entail?
So what that means now is like taking a look at important social norms, like social media.
Well, yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah. That's definitely one.
we have a tendency maybe to overshare on social media. We also have a tendency to forget that everything that we post is
Yeah.
there forever.
So you spoke about the police officers, and they were
Right.
kind of talking to you guys about that. Can you kind of elaborate on that since you're?
Yeah, that was phenomenal. You know, it was great to have young, adult, black officers there to talk to these black young girls. Very candid conversation about what we shouldn't do, some things that they've seen that are harmful for young women.
Can you give us some examples? Maybe some of
Well-
our viewers they may need a little bit of etiquette.
So,
Because I mean, do you see the things that people are posting?
yeah.
And they're not just kids; they're grown ass women and men.
Okay, so listen, these children are seeing everything that these grown people are doing, and they're duplicating it in a way that puts them in to be a target for a human trafficker, for a predator. And they're doing it, I don't think with intention for that type of attention, but we have to warn them about these types of activities, you know. But we also have to be the ones not doing it ourselves. So it's not appropriate for me to talk to a young lady about what not to do when maybe this is something that she's learning from the other women that are around her. Maybe we all need to sit down and have some
Yes,
conversations.
we should.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think, Greg?
I think that is so beautiful. We live in an era where social media makes comments and opinions and things so permanent. Like, and people don't know that it's a permanent stigma that can always be researched on you.
Ooh.
I'm just
Yeah.
curious to see, like, what was your impetus to reach out to young ladies Did you see the pitfalls in your own life, or
Ooh. Let's get real. Yeah. I would say that yes. My experiences were my first teachers. And I remember having people around me that were always encouraging me and opening up doors for me. So despite whatever circumstance I might have found myself in that may not have been within my own power, there was someone there who would pull me along the way and show me what I could do to improve my circumstance. And so now when you have experience like that, you never forget it, and hopefully you do the same for someone else.
that is wonderful. I mean, one thing it really makes me think about is that in our society, it's almost a thing where we really admire people for the work that they're done or whatever the outcomes. The outcomes get praised.
Yeah.
And people don't
There you
understand all of the support
Yeah.
that it takes, right? You know, and and certain disadvantages, you know, historically and generationally for certain peoples, to go to college and to be an engineer, right? Like, it's lots of people that could be an engineer, but to have a family that supported you through all your ups and downs, and to have the financial wherewithal and all this, I'm just wondering, what do you think about that? Because you're talking to people and you're trying to stand in the gap for people who didn't get the idyllic support.
So let me say this: my support was not idyllic by any means, and it's funny you brought up being an engineer, because I did not make it. I didn't make it. I had to get up and get up again and again and again and again, and there was not always somebody there to hold my hand.
Yeah.
So it does take an extreme amount of self-determination and grit and perseverance.
Resilience.
So, but I still had somebody there to put at least that in me. Okay. So if I can be that, just that little seed for someone, then I think I'm on the right track, you know. But no, by no stretch of the imagination did I have the idyllic type of support that it would have taken for me to surmount generations of somebody's holding us back.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So it's these obstacles and these pitfalls that have created Shalana that we see in front of us today, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's giving you that drive and that determination to get what it is that you want and what you need for yourself, and then to actually design a program like this and know the needs that these girls have out here. You know, that everything that you've done has made you who you are today. You had to experience these things. You know, I've just recently told you that. You know, we don't always know how to jump into survival mode if we do not, or we're not forced to have to survive sometimes to make it work.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's why I really have an issue with, you know, just handing things sometimes to your children, because if they don't know about the struggle, if they don't know how to get it, they won't get it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Definitely.
have said that better.
You have turned out to be a phenomenal young lady. That's why I'm going to call you a young lady. You have turned out to be a phenomenal young woman. Everything about you, you're so strong, so brilliant. You are one of the most well-spoken women I've ever spoken to in my life. And I'm telling you the truth. You're very intelligent, quick-witted, everything about you, you know?
She know a little bit.
She knows a little bit.
She got a little experience.
She does. You can tell.
Well, you know, I have the best friends too. You know, you are just my reflection, and I am yours.
Oh,
so
that's my twin. She's my twin.
So I got a question for you though. So in this world of improvement, like in being aspirational, which I think is normal for human beings. I don't think that there's a 3-year-old nowhere that wants to grow up and go to jail. Like, people want to live and they want to thrive. That's just in us as human beings. But in this situation where, you know, the American experiment and where we're at, we want to hop our people up a couple runs and we want to help. But sometimes I feel like there's kind of a duality, because it's like you want people to survive and thrive in a system, but you want them to be better than the system. So it's like, it's almost like you got to know what you need to do to live, but you don't want to be the very thing that kept a people that, you know. So I'm just wondering, like, when you think about other work that you do with the young ladies, how do you incorporate that?
You know, I don't think that there is too much work that I could do to help them along the way. You know, they start off so far behind, and no matter what, the reality is that they're still going to work twice as hard, achieve twice as much, just to maybe get half as far. That's the truth. And I don't think that many of us know that when we start out. We think that if we go to college, we get a good education, maybe we wait to get married, maybe we don't have a baby, and then that our life is going to end up a certain type of way. So for us, I don't think that's ever true.
That's outstanding.
So before we leave, I want to ask you another question. It was basically about your organization, and what about people donating? If someone's interested in donating to your organization, how can they donate?
Call me right now. Call me at 216-236-8535. That's my business number. Also, reach out to me on IG at pharaohs.daughters and on Facebook at Pharaoh's Daughters on my page. My name is, for all those that don't know, Queen Shah. Okay, Queen Shah
Queen
Davis.
Shah.
So no space in between the Queen and Shah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add in?
I just salute you for what you do for the people, man.
Thank you.
And I appreciate anybody that's out here trying to help people.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I wanted to remind you guys about the documentary screening that's going to be over in East Cleveland's library. And I'm sorry, the other day I didn't mention that she's Reverend Dr. Leah Lewis, who's actually put this documentary together. So if you guys are interested, get your tickets at Eventbrite. I'm so sorry, I had a brain freeze. And it's Saturday, December 14th from 1 to 3:30. And I'd like to thank you all for attending, or is that the right word I'm using?
Show up.
For showing up,
Show
yeah.
up for our people.
Well, thank you for watching another episode of People Talk 2, and we'd like to definitely thank Miss Shalana for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you, Greg, for coming in and helping me with all of those intelligent questions. Thank you, and have a good night.